Hey guys, welcome back to another episode. The only way to stay in business in real estate is to make sure your deals are profitable. And I'm not saying you're always going to be profitable, but you should be profitable 99.9% of the time. In this episode, I'm going to talk about how to calculate if an investment property is profitable. All right, guys, so first I'm gonna be talking about the profitability of a flip property, then a rental property, then vacant land, and then wholesaling deals. I'm gonna show you exactly how me and my team figure out the profitability of each deal. I'm gonna start today with a flip property, and this is gonna be super simple. I'm gonna give you the higher level overview of this flip property. It all starts with how much can I sell the flip property for? And then we're gonna slowly work it down to what we have to buy it for and what our profitability. A lot of people figure out if their flip property is profitable after they did the deal. I want you to know if it's gonna be profitable before you even buy the deal, or hey, better yet, make the offer immediately for the profitable deal. So we're gonna use a very simple number here. We're gonna start with let's just say a deal that I'm doing right now. This is actually a property that I'm buying in Colorado, and it's a mobile home, a modular home that caught on fire. And I went and asked my realtor before I even made the offer on the property, exactly what can I sell this property for? Now I did some of my own math. I looked on Zillow, I looked at what houses were selling for in the last few months. I looked on Redfin, I looked on Realtor.com. If you don't have a trusted realtor, this is one place you can look right away, is Redfin.com or Zillow.com and Realtor.com, and see what the comparable houses are selling for. But this is not a video on how to figure out what the property is worth. It's to figure out how to figure out if your real estate property or your investment property is profitable. So I'm gonna give you the exact number that my realtor came in at, and that is $350,000 is the sale price of this modular home after I fixed it up. He actually had 350 to 360. I was coming up with just a little bit lower. So I'm gonna pick the lower number, which is $350,000 that this property is gonna sell for. And then I'm gonna pay my real estate agent because he is 100% worth every bit of 6%, because this guy is gonna give me top dollar. I guarantee you he probably gets me over $350,000. But I'm gonna pay him 6%, and I'm gonna use my calculator to figure out, make sure these numbers are exactly right. But $350,000 times a 6% realtor fee is 21 grand. $21,000. Most people would balk at $21,000, but I think that is money well spent. And hopefully you can see that $21,000. The next thing I'm gonna have to do is I'm gonna have to pay for renovation. Remember I told you, I'm just gonna call it reno, I told you that the house caught on fire. I got a quote from my general contractor. He's a licensed general contractor in the area. We're gonna need new roof. We're gonna need new trusses. We're gonna need new siding. We're gonna need all new drywall, all new kitchen, all new bathrooms and carpet and flooring and all this. And he gave me a price of $70,000. I said, Rob, I think that's a little too low. Are you sure? Then he said, well, yeah, let's plan on $80,000. Be very careful doing that with contractors, but you wanna make sure that they're accurate. So what did I do? I took what Robert told me, which is $80,000, and I added another 20 on top of that. I think it's gonna cost $100,000 to renovate this house because materials right now are skyrocketing. It is crazy what it's costing us for materials. I'm also going to do a 10%, like 10%. 10% of 100,000 is 10 grand. So I'm gonna figure my renovation is gonna cost me $100,000, and this is on a flip property again. That's my reno, and then and then I like to do an exclamation point below that of 10%. You know, at least do 10% of your reno. So we haven't even bought the property yet. We've already spent $21,000 on a realtor, $100,000 on a renovation, $10,000 on a Let's not forget about what it's gonna cost us to run that property, like, you know, water and electric and sewer. And let's just figure that we're gonna have to hold this property 6 months. I told you it caught on fire, right? So let's just figure $1,200 for utilities, and then let's not forget about insurance, because this is gonna be a construction policy, so no one's gonna live there, so insurance is higher because the insurance companies want someone to live there. There's gonna be contractors coming in. Maybe we gotta worry about unlicensed contractors. So let's just figure we're gonna pay about $1,000 for insurance for the next 6 months of this house. So there's insurance, there's utilities, Let's not forget about closing costs. So closing, I just do a simple rule of thumb. When you buy it, it's about 1% closing cost. When you sell it, it's 1% closing cost. There is something called a hold open that you can do with title company. They're basically holding open the title policy until you sell it if you're planning on holding it for less than 9 months or so. So I'm just gonna figure 1% of the $350,000. So call it $3,500 on closing cost fees. That's like title work, that's title insurance policy, that's recording fees, all the above. So let's just make sure we got everything. Closing, insurance, utilities, reno, 6%. Yeah, let's not forget about our profit. Let's just say if we're gonna sell the house for $350,000, the minimum amount of profit that I would be willing to do on this property would be 35 grand. Let's just say 45, just to make us, have a little bit of oomph when we get out of bed in the morning. Let's get a little excited. So let's just do profit down here. Hopefully you can still see that, of $45,000. I'll hope for more. And that tells us below what we can pay for it, but we have not even talked about, what we're gonna pay for our mortgage payments each month for 6 months, the points or origination fees. Let's just figure out what we can pay for this property first. So this is $350,000 minus the $21,000 in realtor fees, minus $110,000 to include the renovation and the minus $1,200 for utilities. I've actually had a $7,800 water bill one time. So luckily we had the worked in because that's where the water bill came from. Minus $1,000 for insurance, minus $3,500 for closing costs on the sell side, minus $45,000 for profit. So that tells me I can pay up to $168,300 for this property. $168,300 is the max allowable offer I can pay for this flip property. All right, so the $168,300 is the max I can pay, and this is where I'm gonna do a little bit more math. I promise that the math doesn't get any more complicated. So $168,000, I'm not gonna put the $300 on there because I wanna keep it simple. Now, I have a lender right now that will lend me money at 2 points or 2 origination fee. That's basically like the fee I pay in advance. Some lenders will allow you to pay it at closing or they'll just add it in there. So 2 points plus 9% interest. So I'm gonna figure out the points on $168,300, or I'm just gonna do $168,000 for easy, times 2%, that's $3,360, $3,360. A lot of people forget about these points and their interest. And I'm gonna figure it's gonna take me, let's just say 6 months to renovate this house, list it on the market and sell it. So $168,000 times 9%, that is $15,120 if I held it for 1 year. That's what I would pay in interest-only mortgage payments. I'm gonna divide that by 12 because there's 12 months in a year. So that's $1,260 a month. $1,260 a month is what I'm gonna pay interest only, and I wanna multiply that by 6. So for 6 months, I'm gonna pay $7,500, $7,560 to use this 168 grand. So really, I'm gonna show you what I need to pay for this property. So let's take 168,000 minus 3360 minus 7560 equals 157.80. So this is what I can pay for the property, $157,080. Let's just say, heck with the 80. Let's just be conservative and just say 156 to be safe for another 1,000. I am all about conservative numbers. I don't want to get this property if I can't get it for for less than 156,000 because I want to guarantee that $45,000 profit. Now let me show you what I'm getting the property for. The wholesaler that brought me this deal, I received an email, actually it was a text. They asked if I was interested in a property in 80906 area code, or zip code I mean. I said yes, send it. They were asking $75,000 for this burnt down modular home. I asked, is there anything you can do on that price because the house caught on fire. I'm expecting over $100,000 in repairs, which is true. They came down to $67,000. So just by asking, I got, what is that? 78, say 9, 80, $8,000 discount. So I love calculators, by the way. 75 minus 67 is an $8,000 discount. $8,000 just by asking. You know how long it took me to ask for that? 2 minutes. It was just a quick email. So literally that email that took me 2 minutes made me $8,000 additional profit. So let's break down the numbers. Let's break down the numbers of exactly what this is going to cost. So I'm going to sell it. This is how to figure out if you got a profitable deal, by the way. I'm going to sell it for $350,000. Don't forget the 6% interest to the realtor, minus $21,000, minus repair. I'm going to go ahead and put the repair and oops all in the same one to save some room. $110,000 minus utilities, minus insurance, minus points, minus interest rate for the money. Don't forget closing costs. All right, utilities, we figured about $1,200, which is probably on the high side. We figured about $1,000 for insurance, which is on the high side. We figured $3,300 in points. We figured, what was the interest rate that we were paying? 75.60. Let's just call it $8,000, just to be safe. Maybe we go over 6 months. $8,000 in interest, and then $3,500 in closing. Did I forget anything else? Interest rate, repair, utility, insurance, points, percent. Oops is in there. I forgot the most important thing. $67,000 that I'm paying for the property. All right, so $350,000 minus $67,000 paid for the property, minus $21,000 for the realtor. Would I sell it for $350,000? I'm not using a realtor to buy it, so I don't have to worry about that. Minus $110,000 for renovation. That includes my $10,000 oops, minus $1,200 for gas, water, electric, sewer, minus $1,000 for insurance for 6 months, minus $3,300 to use the money, which is my 2 points, minus $8,000 for using the money for 6 months at 9% interest, minus $3,500 closing cost. I should make $135,000 on this flip house, this investment property. So that's what I need to know. I think that's a viable deal. We're closing in 3 days. Guys, if you're getting great value in this and you know a flipper, send this to them, share this video with them, and also smash that red subscribe button. I'm gonna move on to a rental property. Let's just use a rental property example. We're gonna use that exact same property that I just went over here. So, for example, remember I said that we can pay up to $157,000. Well, if we purchased it for $67,000 and we put $110 into it plus $110, we will have $177,000 into this property. Let's just say we're going to rent this property out. $177,000 is the purchase price, so that includes the renovation. It includes the purchase of the house. We got $177,000 into it. Let's just do a quick example of what loans are going for. Let's just do a $177,000 loan, and let's do a 30-year loan at like 4.5%. That should be about the average what we can get on a rental property right now. So that should put me at a payment of $896 a month. So this is just kind of a higher level overview, and I know this area very well. This is a 3-bedroom, 2-bath house that's going to be completely decked out to the max. It's going to have granite countertops. It's going to have slow closing cabinets. It's going to have a brand new kitchen, brand new bathroom, brand new carpet, brand new flooring. I'm going to get $2,000 per month for this house for rent. Now this is changing my thoughts on this house a little bit. Maybe I won't sell it for the $135,000 profit. Maybe I'll rent it out for a few years and keep it and see what the market does. So if I take the $2,000 a month rent, I have a brand new property. Nothing's gonna break for a while. I'm gonna have a warranty for at least a year on all the appliances. So I'm not gonna have any capital expenditures because I just replaced the roof, I just replaced the siding, just replaced the air conditioner and the furnace for at least 1 year because it's all covered in warranty. So if you take $2,000 a month minus the $896 mortgage, what is that making me profit each month? That's $1,104 per month. Let's just say that I put $200 a month of that away every single month. That's $2,400 a year minus the $200 in a bank account. I'm gonna put that in the bank account called capital expenditures, or maybe you can't say the word like I can't, and you just call it repairs. That's your repairs account. So 1104 minus 200, That is $904 a month to the positive. Let's just say that you need to make $9,000 a month to pay for all your expenses, all your living expenses. So $9,000 a month divided by 904, you only have to make $9,000 a month in rental property, you only have to have 9.9 of these houses total to be financially free. That's how to figure out if your rental property is profitable. All right, and the last example I'm gonna show today is a piece of raw vacant land. I'm gonna show you an example of a piece of land that I purchased several years ago. It was actually the second parcel of land that I purchased for $500. Now I understand not all land is $500, but what I did was I found a buyer that paid me $500 down to buy this land. So now I have zeroed out that transaction. I have gotten my investment back in my pocket, and I collected $400 a month until he paid me a total of $5,000. So I'm gonna do some more math. So the guy put $500 down. I sold it for $500 for $400 a month at 0% interest. This is my second land deal. I didn't know about charging interest. So minus that $500, he owes me now $4,500 is the balance. So $4,500 owed, and he's paying me, divided by $500 a month. So for 9 months, I had a note coming in that covered my truck payment of $400 a month. My truck payment was like $399 a month. For $400 a month for 9 months, I was able to cover my truck payment. Now, my expenses are actually, when I was in the military in 2016, were about $4,200 a month. So if I divide that by $400 a month that I was receiving from this land payment, $4,200, divided by $400 a month, I only had to do 10.5 of these. So completely, 10.5, let's just call it 11 parcels of land to be 100% financially free. In 9 months, we were making over $6,000 a month. 9 months we did it. So this is the power of investing in land, guys. If you're interested in finding out more about this, head on over to thelandsharks.com. If you want to see an episode that I actually interviewed my father, he's done over 50 land deals now. And just a few short years ago, he was losing his house and 21 acres to foreclosure. And then he filed bankruptcy to basically stop the foreclosure process so he can get it in gear. He's done over 50 land transactions now. There's a link below that you can click on that interview. But if you want to schedule a call and see if we'd be a good fit for me to walk you through exactly how to buy and sell land, I will hold your hand through this entire process and tell you exactly what to do. Head on over to thelandsharks.com and schedule a call. Thank you.